let's learn how to debug. So, debugging is basically the art of analyzing errors, analyzing problems with your code, and determining how to solve them. So, any problem, programming choice is incredibly common to make great progress without, yeah, okay. Alternatively, you might have great. Okay, so let's look at stack traces. We have already learned all of this crap. You also forgot column number, dude. Okay. But basically, this is what is important. Here's your file. That's the line number that failed. And then here is what the error type is, and then what the error message is. Great. So let's look at this stack trace. So, using the stack trace, what is the error here? Based on the following, fill in the answer to the question below. What file is this error thrown? Script.js, which is right here. On what line of the file was this error thrown? Number 5. They, again, forgot column number, but whatever. What type of error? This was a syntax error. And then what is the description of the error, which is unexpected token. Great. On line 16, file fill in example. Oh, I already did all of that. Great, great. So the correct problem was there is a semicolon inside of this if statement. If can only accept one line, it cannot accept multiple. So having a semicolon doesn't make sense. So you have to get rid of that. All right. So let's look at the error types in native to JavaScript runtime. You can identify the type of errors. So you have syntax errors, reference errors, and typed errors. So a syntax error, basically you have written invalid JavaScript code. It is not, and when I say invalid, like it literally isn't JavaScript, right? It's not valid syntax. So a problem here would be like having this is a syntax error. That's a semicolon. You don't put a semicolon there. That is not valid JavaScript. An error here would be like this is a reference error. My variable isn't defined. So and it isn't even defined. It's not even defined as a number, right? And so it won't understand this operation. Okay, so this will be a reference error. You have syntax error right here. And then this, substring 0. My string equals 42. This is a number, not a string, and so this is going to be a type error. Because substring is a method off of string and not off of number, and so it will not understand. In order to do this, you'd have to do .toString, and then there it would be a valid state, valid JavaScript. But in this instance, it isn't, right? So, yep. So, reference error, basically, if you have a variable that is not defined, or you have some sort of thing that you are using that isn't yet defined, it won't understand it. Okay. Type error. Basically, you are most of the time you're trying to access properties that don't exist on that type. That's really what it comes down to, is something is undefined because you haven't, which is kind of like a reference error, but you were trying to access properties that don't exist on that type, is generally the thing that you'll see. Another thing you might see, well, yeah, that's basically what it is. So let's debug some errors. Here's the process. Run your code first. Go through the file name. Yep. Okay. Rerun your code. Repeat until you're yeah. Okay, so now let's run our code. There is an error. Syntax, unexpected token right here, which makes sense. Yep. It's not on that. The error is right here. We do not have a parentheses right here. Okay. So I have solved that problem. Rinse and repeat. Shampoo. All right. So now there's an error here. There's a semicolon right there. Great. Now, if number sum is not defined. Number sum is probably supposed to be defined here. Okay, now it works. Yep, returns true, returns false. And so even if your function like even works, you may not know if if your code is technically valid JavaScript, your code may not be logically sound, right? So say that this is false and this is true. If I run it, this should be true. You logistically expect this to be true because your function is called is sum bigger. So is 1 plus 3 bigger than 2? It should be true. But in this instance, it's false, right? Meaning your code, while still runs, it is not correct, right? You need to fix it, okay? Which seems obvious, but I wanted to make that very clear. There's also a type of bug. Locating silent bugs. Error thrown on the computer really useful. You may find out that your code is... I literally just talked about this. Great. Yep, I literally just talked about this. All right, let's run it, see what happens. Capitalize as single word hey, single word hey ho. Okay. Capitalize a single word, returns null. Capitalize a single word. If no word match that, return null. Okay, that doesn't really make sense. It should return null. Okay, that is expected. Okay. Oh, no, this is backwards. Okay, so there, run that. Wait, let's use console log. Start by, oh. Okay. This is dumb. Great. I solved the code. Yeah, the issue was you had a bang right here, and that's all it was. You just had this logic incorrect. If you only want to capitalize a string with a single word, if that string has a space in it, then it's more than one word, so you should return null. In my opinion, it should be word.trim. Okay, remove all spaces and new lines at the beginning and end of the word, just in case someone puts in spaces afterward or hit enter. So you remove all of that stuff and then check if that has a space, or you could say dot split as that dot length would also be valid, because this would turn it into an array, and if your array length is greater than 1, then you know that it's going to be longer than it's more than one word, right? So that's also valid. Okay. Debugging with console.log. This is a way to debug during runtime without like stopping your program. I'm pretty sure the next thing is going to be about the debugger, so we'll look at that in a second. Okay, you can just start console.logging stuff, and what's cool is you can actually console.log and just, instead of this concatenation thing, you can literally just like put a bunch of commas. So in the code editor, we have included broken function for you to debug. So let's run it, see what happens. Should return blueberry. Correct. Should return zebra. Turns aardvark. Should return null. Turns afar. All right. Get later first letter. Get ladder first letter? Get later first ladder. That's so weird to say. First word 1, character at 1, first 2, great. If first letter equals that, first letter 1, 1, So returns the string of whose first letter is later in the alphabet. Okay. Yeah, this is char 1. I'm pretty sure this is dot local compare first letter 2. I think that's what it's called. Locale. Whoops. So if the characters are the same, right, locale compare compares method returns value indicating whether the string comes before, after, or is the same given the string in sort order. Okay. So if first 1 and first 2 first off, that's 1, not 0. So that should be blueberry. That's correct. Returns null. So make sure that you're getting the first one. But the problem is the ones that are backwards, it returns aardvark. It should be if, not that. Actually, I think that's backwards. I think it should be first letter 2. Whoops, that's F2. 2, 1. Wait. Wait, why is first letter 1? What am I doing wrong? A, local compare, B, expected output 1. Sensitivity base. Should return zebra. Well, let's do what they did here. So let's go the other direction. I don't think you can run strings like this. That doesn't make sense. Really? You can do strings like that? That should be a string. That's not an any. Huh. I didn't know you can compare strings like that. I thought that would force it into a number. Type coercion. Interesting. Well, anyway, debugging that, we now have the correct output. Great. And then find the documentation. Let's hope I can get through this pretty quickly. Get through the rest of this pretty quickly. We have this double string. Link to the documentation. Wait, that's not a link. You might be confused on how to fix it. Okay. So let's look at this repeat. That's not helpful. That's not helpful. Go to here. String.repeat. There we go. Okay. So the issue is probably I didn't put in a number in there in the code editor. Clearly we are using it incorrectly. We should be passing in a number. Yep. So I want to double the string, put it in 1, probably. Happy, happy, happy. Repeat 3. Nope, it'd be 2. Run. What do you want it to return? Oh, you want me to put that in there? Congratulations. All right. Yay, Stack Overflow. basically just a little forum for code people to copy off of each other. All right, in code editor, we unfinished contains cake. Using about this post. I just like to put the post and the code right next to each other. Wait, where'd the, oh, that's stupid. Okay, in the code editor, we've unfinished function. String contains a substring. If not, should return false. So this logic, string dot includes, return string dot, includes cake. And let's run it. Returns false. Was that valid? Great. So this is not case, or this is case sensitive. So you should do dot to lowercase in case they put in like a capital C cake or whatever. So that's a good way to handle that they don't talk about. So there is one more thing that they don't do in broken implementation of a function called that. We're going to learn about the debugger? No, we're not. That's annoying. That's lovely. Okay. In code editor, we have a broken function. Let's run it and see what happens. Okay, we have unexpected token that. Fun. This is not defined because it is misspelled. Also misspelled here. Great. And now logic is incorrect. If is string perfect length. Get string min length max. If string length greater than min length, return false. Correct. If string length is less than max, this should be min. There we go. Oh, wait a minute. Return true. 2 and 4. Min max. Dog is at 3. String length is greater than max. Great. All right. So, debugging. There's one thing that they didn't talk about, and it's the use of the debugger, which doesn't even exist on here. So the debugger, basically what it does, at least in the, like if you go into here and you go like into the code itself. So let's look at this error. Got an error right here. Okay, that's annoying. Got some sort of error. I'm going to go into the call stack. It's got an error right here. If you click on this, it will have it'll stop the entire process from running once it hits that point. Okay, so you can see it's paused in debugger. And this, you can go into here and like read, oh, that's 372. What is this? Like you can read what this information is, and when you hover over it. So that's kind of the point of it, and you can go up and down breakpoints if you have multiple, which I'm just going to get rid of that and just keep it going. But that's kind of the point of the debugger, is for you to be able to debug easily at runtime and see what's going on and go step by step and see what's happening. So they don't talk about that, which I think is a failure on them. That is really, really stupid. You're talking about debugging and you don't talk about the debugger. That, I mean, seriously. Really. All right, debugging.